Welcome to Foxy Story. Before we dive into today's tale, make sure to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment below. Now, let's get into our story titled, She Neglects Her Husband Because of Her Pastor. Once upon a time, in a bustling city in Nigeria, lived Ada and her husband Chidi. They were happily married and lived in a cozy apartment in the heart of the city. Chidi, a hardworking man, loved Ada dearly and did everything to make her happy. Ada, on the other hand, was a woman of faith, deeply committed to her church and her pastor. As time passed, Ada's devotion to her church grew stronger. She attended every service, volunteered for every event, and spent hours praying and reading the Bible. Chidi admired her faith, but started to feel neglected as Ada's time and attention were consumed by her religious activities. Ada's devotion took a new turn as she began cooking meals for Pastor James at his home. This was something she had never done for anyone else, not even when she first married Chidi. Her commitment to her pastor grew deeper, much to the dismay of her husband. Chidi felt the distance between him and Ada growing. He missed the times they spent together, the laughter they shared, and the love they had. He tried talking to Ada, but she was always too busy with church activities or too tired to listen. Chidi's frustration turned into despair as he felt his marriage slipping away. In her quest for spiritual fulfillment, Ada found herself spending more time with Pastor James. Their meetings became more frequent and personal. What started as spiritual guidance soon turned into something much deeper and forbidden. Ada, blinded by her admiration and devotion, began an affair with Pastor James, completely unaware of the damage it would cause. Chidi couldn't ignore the signs anymore. He saw the change in Ada, the secretive phone calls, the late nights, and the way she avoided his questions. Desperate to save his marriage, Chidi decided to confront Ada, but each attempt only pushed her further away. As the tension in their home grew, new characters entered their lives. There was Grace, Ada's close friend, who noticed the changes in Ada and tried to offer advice. And then there was Mr. Johnson, Chidi's colleague, who saw his friend's pain and tried to offer support. What will happen next in this tale of faith, love, and betrayal? Stay tuned to Foxy Story for the next chapter of She Neglects Her Husband Because of Her Pastor. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. Grace, noticing the changes in Ada, decided to have a heart-to-heart conversation with her friend. She saw how Ada's devotion to Pastor James was affecting her marriage and wanted to help Ada see the damage she was causing. At work, Chidi confided in his colleague, Mr. Johnson. He shared his frustrations and heartache, seeking advice on how to save his marriage. Mr. Johnson, a wise and supportive friend, listened patiently and offered words of encouragement. Despite Grace's concerns and Chidi's attempts to reach out, Ada's devotion to Pastor James only grew stronger. She continued cooking for him, spending more time at his home, and neglecting her own household responsibilities. The rift between her and Chidi widened with each passing day. Seeing Chidi's distress, Grace decided to offer him support. She reached out to him, offering a listening ear and friendly advice. Grace admired Chidi's patience and kindness, qualities that drew her closer to him, though she kept her feelings to herself. Amidst the turmoil at home, Chidi found solace in his work. He was a successful businessman with several thriving ventures. His dedication and hard work paid off, and he continued to excel in his career, earning respect and admiration from his colleagues. Pastor James, aware of the strain he was causing in Ada's marriage, continued to manipulate her. He convinced her that her devotion to him was a test of her faith, further deepening her commitment to him and widening the gap between her and Chidi. As the days went by, the tension in Ada and Chidi's marriage reached a boiling point. Secrets began to unravel, and unexpected twists added more drama to their lives. Grace's growing feelings for Chidi remained hidden, creating a suspenseful undertone to the unfolding story. Grace, noticing the strain in Ada and Chidi's home, decided to extend her kindness to Chidi's kids. She began spending more time with them, helping with their homework, and taking them out for treats. The children, starved for attention, grew fond of Grace and appreciated her caring nature. Pastor James, sensing Ada's deepening commitment to him, decided to push his advantage further. He began encouraging Ada to donate more money to the church and invest in various church projects, promising that God would bless her even more for her generosity. Ada, convinced by Pastor James's words, started spending more of the family's money on church donations and projects. She believed that her financial sacrifices would bring divine blessings to her and her family, despite the growing financial strain it put on their household. Chidi, unaware of Ada's increased donations to the church, began noticing the financial strain on their household. Bills piled up, and their savings dwindled. Concerned, Chidi tried to discuss the issue with Ada, but she dismissed his worries, assuring him that God would provide. Grace's bond with Chidi's kids grew stronger. She became a regular presence in their lives, attending school events and spending quality time with them. The children adored Grace, finding in her the attention and care they missed from their mother. As Grace became more involved with the children, Chidi found himself increasingly relying on her support. He appreciated her kindness and the way she cared for his kids, finding in her a sense of comfort and stability that was missing at home. Pastor James continued to demand more from Ada, both financially and emotionally. He convinced her to take on more church responsibilities and donate even larger sums of money, promising that her sacrifices would be rewarded by God. Despite the turmoil at home, Chidi's businesses continued to thrive. His dedication and hard work paid off, and he saw significant success in his ventures. However, the financial strain at home and the emotional distance from Ada weighed heavily on him. Ada's small provision store, once a steady source of income, began to decline. She used the store's earnings to donate to the church and fund Pastor James's projects, leaving little for inventory and upkeep. The store's shelves grew empty, and customers stopped coming. As Grace continued to care for Chidi's kids, they began to prefer her over their mother. They enjoyed her attention, kindness, and the sense of normalcy she brought to their lives. Grace's bond with the children grew stronger, making her an indispensable part of their lives. Chidi, grateful for Grace's support and care for his children, began to spend more time with her. They shared their worries and dreams, finding comfort in each other's company. Slowly, their feelings for each other grew, but they kept them hidden, unsure of what to do. Meanwhile, Ada's devotion to Pastor James intensified. She continued to donate money, neglect her family, and spend more time at the church. The more she gave, the more Pastor James demanded, promising her that God would reward her sacrifices. Grace, noticing the strain on Chidi, became increasingly concerned for him. She wanted to help him, to be there for him, but she was also aware of the growing feelings between them. Torn between her loyalty to Ada and her feelings for Chidi, Grace found herself in a difficult position. One evening, after a particularly challenging day, Chidi and Grace found themselves alone, sharing their thoughts and worries. In a moment of vulnerability, they confessed their feelings for each other. It was a bittersweet moment, filled with both joy and guilt. With their feelings out in the open, Chidi and Grace faced a complex web of emotions. They were drawn to each other, yet aware of the hurt it could cause. They decided to take things slowly, unsure of what the future held, but determined to navigate it together. Unknown to Ada, Pastor James had been weaving his deceitful web around many wealthy women in the church. He had convinced them to give generously, all while maintaining his facade of piety and divine wisdom. Each woman, including Ada, was unaware of the others, each believing she was uniquely blessed. As Pastor James's manipulative schemes started to unravel, he reached out to Toby, an agent who handled travel documents. Pastor James needed to escape before his secrets were exposed. Toby, aware of the urgency, began preparing the necessary documents to facilitate Pastor James' escape. In addition to his financial manipulations, Pastor James had a hidden scandal. A married woman from his congregation was pregnant with his child. This secret was a ticking time bomb, adding to the urgency of his escape plans. Ada began to sense that something was wrong. Despite her unwavering faith, she couldn't shake the feeling that Pastor James was hiding something. She started noticing inconsistencies in his behavior and began questioning his motives. Grace and Chidi's feelings for each other deepened, though they kept them hidden. Their shared moments of support and understanding turned into something more profound. They both struggled with their growing affection, knowing it could complicate their lives further. As Toby worked on Pastor James's travel documents, he faced a moral dilemma. He knew that helping Pastor James could have serious consequences for many people. The agent was torn between his professional duties and his conscience. The financial strain on Ada's provision store became severe. With her resources drained by donations and her focus diverted, the store faced closure. Ada, still dedicated to her church, was blind to the impact on her family's well-being. The situation reached a tipping point as secrets started to surface. Ada's suspicions grew, and Chidi, increasingly aware of the tension, began to question the truth behind Pastor James's actions. The web of deceit threatened to unravel. Trouble hit a new level when Mrs. Damalola, the wife of Dakan Afolabi, was caught in a compromising situation with Pastor James. The shock spread like wildfire through the church community. Dakan Afolabi was devastated, and Mrs. Damalola's reputation was ruined. Realizing that Pastor James was about to be exposed, Toby saw an opportunity. He decided to scam Pastor James, using the agent's position to trick him into a trap. Toby crafted a plan to take advantage of Pastor James's desperation to escape. Realizing that Pastor James was about to be exposed, Toby saw an opportunity. He decided to scam Pastor James, using the agent's position to trick him into a trap. Toby crafted a plan to take advantage of Pastor James's desperation to escape. As Toby's plan unfolded, Pastor James's dirty secrets began to surface. The church community was rocked by revelations of his affairs, financial manipulations, and deceitful promises. Ada and the other women were shocked to learn they were part of a larger scheme. Ada, once a staunch defender of Pastor James, was forced to confront the truth. The betrayal cut deep as she realized how she had been manipulated and deceived. The church, her faith, and her family had all been caught in the crossfire of Pastor James's schemes. Chidi, witnessing the collapse of everything he held dear, felt a mix of anger and sorrow. He struggled with the pain of Ada's betrayal and the chaos it caused. Yet, amidst the turmoil, he found solace in Grace's support. As the dust settled, Grace and Chidi found themselves drawn closer together. In the aftermath of the scandal, they confronted their feelings for each other. Their connection, forged in crisis, became a source of hope and healing. The church faced its own reckoning as the congregation came to terms with the scandal. Many left, disillusioned, while others sought redemption and healing. The fallout from Pastor James's deceit left a lasting impact on everyone involved. As life slowly began to return to normal, Ada, Chidi, and Grace had to rebuild their lives. The scars of the past remained, but they also found strength in each other. The journey ahead was uncertain, but they faced it with newfound hope and resilience. Pastor James's world came crashing down. Jailed for mismanagement of church funds and related offenses, he faced the consequences of his deceitful actions. The once revered pastor was now behind bars, unable to escape the legal repercussions of his manipulations. The shame of the scandal was too much for Ada to bear. Unable to face the public disgrace and the collapse of her marriage, she decided to divorce Chidi. The end of her marriage marked a painful chapter in her life, filled with regret and sorrow. Amidst the turmoil, Chidi found a new beginning with Grace. To show his appreciation and affection, he bought her a luxurious car. This gesture symbolized not only his love, but also a fresh start for their relationship. As Chidi and Grace embraced their new life together, they found comfort and joy in each other's company. The past was behind them, and they looked forward to building a future filled with hope and happiness. Ada's life took a different path after the divorce. The scandal left its mark, but she had to find a way to move forward. Her journey became one of self-reflection and rebuilding, seeking redemption in her own way. The church began its slow process of recovery after the scandal. With new leadership and a focus on healing, it aimed to rebuild trust and restore its reputation. The journey was long, but there was hope for renewal. The tale of Ada, Chidi, Grace, and Pastor James came to an end with many lives changed. From scandal and betrayal to new beginnings and hope, each character faced their own path to redemption. Stay tuned to Foxy Story for more captivating tales. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below.